Few names in music history are as famous as Elvis Presley. Known as the king of rock and roll, he became one of the most influential figures in popular culture and helped transform music forever. Elvis Aaron Presley was born on January 8, 1935 in Tupelo, raised in a humble family. He grew up listening to gospel music in churches, as well as blues and country, styles that would later shape his unique sound. In 1954, Elvis recorded his first songs and quickly caught the attention of the public. With his striking voice, impressive charisma, and energetic performances, he won millions of fans. Songs such as Heartbreak Hotel, Hound Dog, and Jailhouse Rock became worldwide hits and helped popularize rock and roll. During the 1950s and 1960s, Elvis was not just a singer. He also starred in several films in Hollywood, becoming one of the biggest celebrities on the planet. His image, his style, and his music influenced generations of artists who came after. Throughout his career, Elvis sold hundreds of millions of records worldwide, setting records that remain impressive to this day. His impact was so great that many consider him one of the most important artists in the history of music. On August 16, 1977, Elvis Presley passed away at the age of 42 at his famous residence, Graceland. His death shocked fans around the world, but his legacy lived on. Decades later, his songs continue to be heard by millions of people. His name still symbolizes an era of innovation, talent, and passion for music. More than a singer, Elvis Presley became a legend that forever changed the history of entertainment. Elvis Presley wasn't just the king of rock. He was a cultural phenomenon whose influence continues to cross generations, keeping his music and memory alive in every corner of the world. When we talk about Elvis Presley, we are talking about an artist who shone for several decades. But some epics were especially striking and turned his name into a world legend. It all started in the 1950s. It was during this period that Elvis exploded to stardom and changed popular music forever. With his innovative style, mixing rock, country, blues, and gospel, he conquered young people in a way never seen before. Hits such as Heartbreak Hotel, Hound Dog, and Jailhouse Rock dominated the charts and made him the biggest musical phenomenon of the time. The 1950s were considered Elvis' first golden age. His concerts filled gyms, his records sold millions of copies, and his image was everywhere. For many fans, this was the absolute pinnacle of the King of Rock. In the 1960s, Elvis remained famous, but went on to devote much of his career to film. He starred in several films and released soundtracks that were also successful, although his popularity remained enormous. Many critics believe that his musical side was being overshadowed by his acting career. But it was in the late 1960s that one of the most important moments in his career happened. In 1968, Elvis performed the famous television special known as Elvis 68 Comeback Special. The show marked his triumphant return to the stage and showed the world that he was still one of the greatest artists on the planet. The 1970s brought a new phase of success. Elvis returned to performing live frequently and performed grandiose shows in cities all over the United States. His artist residency at the International Hotel in Las Vegas became historic. At this time, songs like Suspicious Minds, The Wonder of You, and Burning Love showed that Elvis could still dominate the music charts. In 1973, he reached another impressive milestone with the satellite concert Aloha from Hawaii, broadcast to dozens of countries and watched by millions of people. It was one of the biggest musical events in television history. For this reason, music historians usually point to two great golden phases in Elvis Presley's career: the revolutionary explosion of the 1950s and the spectacular return to the top between the late 1960s and the early 1970s. Even decades after his death, the King of Rock remains a world reference. His music has crossed generations, and his legacy remains as alive as in the days when he dominated the stage and delighted crowds around the world. Few artists have left such a deep mark on the United States as Elvis Presley. More than a singer, he became a symbol of change, freedom, and cultural transformation. His influence was so great that he helped redefine the music, fashion, and even behavior of an entire generation. In the 1950s, the United States was experiencing a period of great change. The youth were looking for something new, something different from the traditional music that dominated the radio. It was at this time that Elvis emerged with a revolutionary style, mixing the country of the American South, the gospel of the churches, and the rhythm and blues of the African-American communities. The result was explosive. His music had an energy that audiences had never seen before. When Elvis took the stage, he drew attention not only by his voice, but also by his movements, his presence, and his attitude. For many young people, he represented a new form of expression and independence. His impact on American music was enormous. Elvis helped bring rock and roll to mainstream audiences and paved the way for countless bands and artists to emerge in the following decades. Without his influence, the history of popular music would probably have been very different. But its importance went beyond music. Elvis also influenced fashion. Her hairstyles, colorful outfits, elegant jackets, and extravagant costumes began to be imitated by millions of fans. He turned into a style icon recognized all over the world. In television and film, his presence helped create the Moderna concept of superstar. Before Elvis, few artists were able to master so many areas of entertainment at once. He showed that a singer could also be an actor, a celebrity, and a cultural phenomenon. Another important aspect was the way his music brought together different American musical traditions. By combining influences from various styles, Elvis helped popularize sounds that were previously known only to specific audiences, contributing to transforming American music into something more diverse and accessible. During the following decades, his influence continued to grow. Artists from rock, pop, country, and even other genres have come to cite Elvis as inspiration. His legacy can be seen in virtually all popular music produced since then. Even after his death in 1977, his image remained present in American culture. His songs remain on the radio, his films are still watched, and his story continues to fascinate new generations of fans. Elvis Presley was not only the king of rock and roll, he was one of the artists who helped shape the cultural identity of the United States. His music changed the entertainment industry, influenced generations of musicians, and left a permanent mark on American history. Decades later, his legacy lives on, proving that some legends never cease to inspire the world. Behind the brilliance of the stages and world fame, Elvis Presley was a person with many interests and passions. Knowing the things he liked helps you better understand who the man behind the legend was. Since childhood, Elvis has had a deep connection with music. He loved listening to gospel songs in the churches he attended with his family. Religious music accompanied him throughout his life and strongly influenced his musical style. Even after becoming a world star, he continued to record gospel songs, considered some of his most exciting interpretations. Elvis' other passion was cars. He loved luxury automobiles and became famous for his huge collection. Among the best-known models were several Cadillacs, including some that he gave to friends, family, and even people he had just met. For Elvis, cars represented freedom and success. Elvis was also fascinated by motorcycles. Whenever he could, he liked to drive on the roads or inside the properties where he lived. The sense of speed and adventure was part of his personality. One of the things that gave him the most pleasure was spending time at his famous mansion, Graceland. There he gathered friends, family, and close people for moments of fun, music, and rest. Graceland has become your refuge away from the crowds. The singer also had a great interest in films. Even before becoming an actor, he loved to watch Hollywood productions. Later, she fulfilled this dream by starring in dozens of films, becoming one of the biggest celebrities in cinema and music at the same time. Few people know, but Elvis was very fond of reading about spirituality, philosophy, and different religions. During his life, he devoted a lot of time to the study of these topics, seeking answers to questions about existence, faith, and the purpose of life. When it came to food, Elvis had well-known preferences. He loved typical dishes of the southern United States, including elaborate sandwiches, burgers, and sweet desserts. Some of her favorite combinations have become famous among her fans over the years. In addition, Elvis liked to spend time with his closest friends. He often organized gatherings, impromptu music sessions, and recreational activities. Despite his fame, he greatly valued the company of people he trusted. Even as one of the biggest stars in history, Elvis Presley enjoyed simple things: music, family, friendship, cars, movies, and quiet moments at home. These passions helped shape his personality and show that behind the myth, there was a person who found joy in the same things as millions of people around the world. And perhaps this is precisely what makes Elvis so fascinating to this day. In addition to being a music legend, he was someone who never lost his love for the things that really made him happy. When we think of Elvis Presley, we imagine crowds, applause, and unforgettable shows. Throughout his career, Elvis performed in many places, but some of them became special and forever connected with his history. One of the most important locations was his adopted city of Memphis. It was there that his career began to gain momentum. Elvis had a special connection to the city, where he recorded many of his songs and built his famous residence, Graceland. Whenever he returned to Memphis, he felt at home. Another striking place was a legendary Sun Studio. Although it was a recording studio and not a concert hall, it was there that Elvis recorded his first professional songs. Many fans consider this place the real birthplace of his career. During the 1950s, Elvis loved performing in large auditoriums and theaters throughout the southern United States. Each show attracted crowds of young people who wanted to see up close the phenomenon that was revolutionizing American music. But no place has become as associated with his concerts as the city of Las Vegas. In the late 1960s and through much of the 1970s, Elvis performed hundreds of shows in Las Vegas. Its main stage was a famous international hotel, which would later become known as the Hilton Las Vegas. There, Elvis felt comfortable and had the freedom to create grandiose shows. Thousands of fans traveled from all over the world just to see him sing live. Many of the most memorable performances of his career took place at this venue. Another very special stage for Elvis was Madison Square Garden in New York City. When he performed there in 1972, tickets sold out quickly, showing that his popularity remained enormous even after almost 2 decades of career. In 1973, Elvis performed one of the most historic shows of his life with the Aloha from Hawaii event. The show took place in Honolulu and was broadcast by satellite to several countries. Millions of people watched the performance, making it a milestone in music history. Despite singing in large arenas and stadiums, Elvis also had a special fondness for the most intimate performances, where he could feel the energy of the audience up close. He enjoyed interacting with fans, telling stories and turning each show into a unique experience. From the stages of Memphis to the lights of Las Vegas, from the theaters of the 1950s to the global broadcast of Hawaii, Elvis Presley conquered everywhere he went, and in each of them left memories that remain alive in the memory of fans. Because for Elvis, it didn't matter how big the stage was. Wherever there was music and an audience to listen to, there was the perfect place to sing. More than 4 decades after his death, Elvis Presley's name continues to be recognized in virtually every corner of the planet. Few artists have managed to leave such a lasting and influential legacy as the king of rock and roll. When Elvis emerged in the 1950s, popular music was undergoing a transformation. With his powerful voice, his unique stage presence, and his innovative blend of musical styles, he helped bring rock and roll to the center of American culture. What began as a new musical genre eventually became a worldwide phenomenon. His legacy can be seen in the careers of thousands of artists who came after him. Singers of rock, pop, country, and even other styles acknowledge Elvis' influence on their music, performances, and careers. He showed that an artist could go beyond music and become a cultural icon, but his contribution was not limited to the stage. Elvis helped transform the entertainment industry. He was one of the first global superstars of the Moderna era, paving the way for generations of artists who dreamed of reaching international audiences. Throughout his career, he sold hundreds of millions of records and set impressive records. Many of his songs continue to be played on radio, in films, series, and digital platforms, gaining new fans with each generation. His famous residence, Graceland, has become one of the most visited places in the United States. Every year, thousands of fans travel there to honor the artist who changed the history of music. Elvis' legacy is also present in popular culture. Her image, her costumes, her hairstyles, and her style continue to be recognized instantly. Even people who never lived at the time of his success know exactly who Elvis Presley was. In addition, he left an example of dedication to art. Despite the gigantic fame, he never abandoned his passion for music. His concerts, recordings, and performances demonstrated a constant commitment to entertainment and to his fans. The most impressive thing is that his legacy continues to grow. Decades after his departure, documentaries, films, books, and tributes keep his story alive. New generations discover his songs and are enchanted by the talent that has revolutionized Moderna music. Elvis Presley left not only records and records, he left a permanent mark on world culture. His influence has crossed generations, pushed boundaries, and transformed the way music is produced, performed, and lived. And that's why, even so many years later, the King of Rock continues to reign. His legacy lives on the songs, the artists he inspired, and the millions of fans who still celebrate his memory around the world. Some stars shine for a few years. Elvis Presley became a legend whose light continues to illuminate the history of music forever.